We like to do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Hey, y'all. Welcome to episode 92 of Consignment Chats. You got 3 of us here today. We got Samantha with us because we are going to take today and we are going to break down eBay Open 2022, which just ended yesterday. We have a little bit of an event hangover. We're all a little tired and some mind blown moments. But yeah, we thought what better than to hop on here live and get Samantha with us and talk about some highlights, some things we learned. What do you think?
Yeah. So we're going to link up. There, a lot of the sessions were recorded, so you'll hear us referring to some of it. And it's available, and I'll put the link in. So it's eBay for Business, and it is up on their YouTube channel. So we're going to give you the highlights. Should we start with, I want to hear what y'all's favorite thing was about eBay Open 2022.
All right. My favorite thing is, here's what I felt. Even though we were online, I still felt a very big sense of being a part of a community.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, with a company that big, giving you that feeling in an online event is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, the networking was my favorite part, even though, especially like day one, things were a little scattered and stuff, but I still made so many good connections, had so many direct messages going back and forth, and we grew our community through all of our discussions. So I really felt all the people part of it was the best part.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, I loved that, but I actually have some, but my favorite part was actually the demo of eBay Live.
Oh, yes.
That was amazing.
Was surprised, blown away. Just the way they implemented it and showed everybody eBay Live and how this live selling tool is going to work. And I'm just really excited about that. That was my favorite, but I have lots of seconds.
Okay. So wait a minute. We have friends that are listening and watching and they're going, eBay Live? What the what?
Oh, right.
What is that?
Right.
What is that?
So it is, all right, so some of us sell on Whatnot, Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives, but it is eBay's solution to live selling. And it will be rolling out. They did not really provide a date of when it is going to be rolling out. They tried a couple, they did some demos, which I saw, but they were with like big names and trading cards, but they are going to bring it to the masses for those of us interested in live selling or those that sell live, and we'll be able to do it on the eBay platform and on the eBay app. It was through the app. So yeah,
it was really incredible.
Yeah. It was so fun. They put those things up there, and at first it was frustrating because they'd sell out so quickly. I mean, there was thousands of us watching and participating.
Right.
But thinking about those being your items someday when you do your live was exhilarating. I'm like, look at all this stuff sell so quickly.
I know that stuff went away like that. Mm-hmm. And I love the way it popped up right there on the bottom and you just click the buy button, grab it.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty neat. And the other thing that I loved about it was that you could throw polls out there.
Yeah.
Live and put questions. I mean, I thought that was really neat.
Yeah. See what your customer base is interested in. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was a pretty unique part to that. Y'all, bear with me today if I'm missing vocabulary, thoughts, and words, because I'm definitely suffering from event hangover today. I am so tired.
It has been a really busy couple of days. Molly's traveling, so she's here in the Lehigh Valley with me. And so we traveled to New York. We'll get into New York because that's a whole other ballgame. But and we did a live sale using our Comment Sold software on Thursday night. So the event was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's been pretty much a whirlwind of
nonstop.
So
nonstop.
Yes.
So just bear with me if I'm losing names and things because woo.
You've been on an excitement roller coaster.
It has been. I got my coffee. I'm drinking out of my eBay Open 2022 cup.
Nice.
So I'm trying
She's
to wake
all
up.
decked out in swag here. She's got her buttons.
Oh, look at the pins. Yeah.
My pins, my lanyard.
We have matching shirts, but I need a booster seat for
There
mine.
So y'all, what I love about the lanyards is at the very bottom it says, can you see that?
Cha-ching.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I
I didn't
love
even
that.
notice that. Yeah. So we hosted two networking rooms on Thursday for consignment chats, and it was amazing to meet so many people and see how many people are doing consignment and could use a little help, are interested in doing it and want to do it the right way. So we met so many amazing resellers that were so interested and we're excited. We've already welcomed some of them into our community. And that was really, Samantha was there in the networking room. And
thank goodness, Samantha, helping put links out there and keep us straight.
Oh my gosh.
It was a whirlwind. Yeah.
These were just coming and they were all phenomenal questions.
Yeah.
I mean, we even had some questions we'd never heard before, which
Oh,
I
know.
loved. I
Yeah.
loved that.
Yeah. And I was in some other sessions the next day or throughout the day, and people are, oh, we got to go to that one later. Or, oh, we missed that one yesterday. I heard it was the best one. And we had a lot of activity going on. I liked it.
Really? Wow.
We had so much fun. I mean, I would have said that was my favorite part because really it was right up there, but I didn't want to make it about us.
Right.
But I had so much fun. That was a blast.
It was definitely an honor to host that, and it definitely opened my eyes to how many people. So if you're watching this video or listening on podcasts, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, let your friends know there are a lot of people that are interested in this, and I guess we need to get out there a little bit more, because people were like, oh yes, I've been looking for something like this. I've been looking for consignment chats or a community of other resellers that maybe do a little bit of consignment to guide me. So it really, there's a huge demand for that out there. So we got to get out there a little bit more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There were some people that I thought was interesting. They didn't even know what consignment was. We were explaining it and having those conversations, and other people were like, oh, I've had people approach me, but I didn't know that was a thing or had a name or how to do it. So yeah, there was lots of education.
Yeah, we did have the basic questions of, can you please explain exactly what consignment is? And, so we were getting from the basics to the nitty gritty about taxes and splits and contracts and all that. So
I remember last year from one of the networking and talking to people in the rooms that there were a lot of people that actually do consignment, and they didn't even realize that was what they were doing. Right? Oh yeah, I do this and I split it. They just didn't have a name with it, and it is their whole business model. So yeah, wow.
It's really awesome that you guys have that sample on consignmentchats.com, because that was probably the biggest question was where do I start with an agreement? And we have the episodes that you guys did, and then that sample one, people were loving that.
Yeah.
Because that's the hardest part. And in all honesty, I would be bringing her on, but she doesn't do consignment anymore. She runs a nonprofit. When I first started in consignment, my friend Danny had a consignment store, and she gave me, signage for the store. She gave me a sample agreement, or she gave me her agreement and said, this is what worked for us, and kind of use that as a starting point. So I do want to give her some credit, even though she probably, it's not her business anymore.
Right.
But yeah, that made things so much easier when I at least had a template to start and knew, and it's fairly simple.
Yeah.
Well, when you don't know,
but when you don't know,
so overthink and worry and not know, and so you.
My first one, I just did a bunch of Googling, and I tried to look at other shops, but it can change so much. I mean, obviously all of our policies are different, and depending on your geographical area or things like that. And I would just Google things, and you get the most legal mumbo jumboed. My first contract, well, first of all, it was a contract, and it was so legalized and weird, and I've changed it. It grows. It's an agreement, which is a less harsh word. And yes.
Yeah, and I was kind of heartened when we spoke with Dana Crawford about consignment, our OG of consignment selling. She said she does things, casually and not in legalese, and she sometimes uses an email as an agreement. So, she hasn't been caught up in, all of the legal mumbo jumbo. Like, you want your customers and consigners to understand what it is exactly you're doing, and just have an agreement with them.
Yeah.
And you get into contracts, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like, that's great if that's the road you choose. I mean, more power to you.
Yeah, I send mine an email, and some clients feel better if they sign it and send it back. But otherwise, it's usually just a guideline of these are the rules that I go by and how I practice, and then do you agree, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes. When you drop your items off, you're in agreement. That tells me you're in agreement.
When I create that account, you're in.
Yeah. So the networking rooms weren't they were recorded, but they will not be released for on the YouTube channel for eBay or anything like that. But almost all the information we were discussing, you can find in our free private Facebook community. So, the links are in the show notes. Just come over, join us there. You will get the same information there that you would have if you missed the networking room. And if you were there, thank you so much. I know Clara from List Perfectly was there, and she was providing some amazing support for us.
She was at both of ours.
She's such a cheerleader.
Yes.
Even in the general event, there's so many things going on, and she's just pepping people up. I love it.
She is. She is. I agree.
Yeah. So we want to, I definitely want to, thank List Perfectly for being one of our sponsors for Consignment Chats. And they provide us with great resources. And we will be doing some List Perfectly giveaways when we do our lives. And so stay tuned for that. That is just another amazing way they are supporting us. And so I just wanted to shout out and say, thank you for all your support and everything you provide for our reselling community. Yeah. All right. So enough about consignment chats. Let's get back to eBay Open.
See how we made it all about us?
All right. So let's say we definitely have people that attended eBay Open that were curious about eBay. So if you're not selling on eBay, let's say you are a store with you have a brick and mortar and you're looking to expand your audience. There were definitely some sessions that were absolutely worth it. To do. Yeah. So if you're just, I don't want to say if you're a brick and mortar seller or you're not currently on eBay, there are still so many takeaways from eBay Open. There are still so many takeaways from eBay Open.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So keep listening.
Yeah. I want to talk about some of the rooms, some of the like seller-led experiences, all that good stuff.
There was so much. So, all right. So what's a session that you went to that you really...
All right. So one of them I went to that I actually am going to watch probably 3 more times because it was that much information. And in talking about it yesterday at the live in-person eBay Open, went back and forth with suggestions. They really need to break it down into a beginner's and an advanced was on Terapeak, the search engine that you use to search things. So I use Terapeak every day. I use it every day to search for comps and things. But
get some good keywords.
Had no clue how much you could do with Terapeak. This guy... I couldn't get my notes down. It was so overwhelming, which is why I'm so glad they record it because I literally am going to watch it. And here's what I plan to do. I plan to watch it 2 or 3 times. And then I plan to take it from that advanced mode and break it down and do a tutorial for us in a layman's term for those of us that get overwhelmed with the techie speech because I was overwhelmed. but there's so many great things to learn.
Ooh.
So many great things to learn that I had absolutely no idea.
And that's a really important part of I mean, it's important part of any reseller's experience, the research, but
especially consignment, because
Right.
you are trying to get the most money for somebody else's items. So you
Mhm.
want to know you're doing the absolute best for them that you can.
Mhm.
And this tool allows the opportunity to do that,
Yeah.
but in more ways than I even knew.
Yeah, and I'm excited because I mean, again, I also use it every day. I use it for a lot of research. I love it, but I'm excited to know what I don't know.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, because you can look at like trends and stuff. Like I use it to do comps and look things up, but you can specifically go in and say what sold really well for October last year or
Right.
things like that, and then have a better way to direct your clients for what
Mhm.
they can bring you at that time.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait for you to bring
Oh
us
my gosh,
that.
it does so much.
I'm going to let Molly do the work, and then I'm going to watch her summary.
Perfect.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's
All right,
fine.
cool.
That's fine.
Cool. How about you, Samantha? What was a session that you went to that really was eye-opening?
I really liked the been there, done that. She did a lot of the same practices as far as her storage and inventory, just the way she organized things. But I liked the chat of it. She did great. I cannot remember her name, but I followed.
It's Anna Packer. Yeah.
There we go. I followed her on all the stuff. And yeah, I like her insight and just the way that she broke it down. It was a nice pace for people to follow along, and she showed her growth. Like, this is what I did in the beginning, and then this is what I learned, and I changed it, and now I do this. And the conversations and all the other things that other people were doing was the part that I really liked hearing from everybody.
I always love people that will put themselves out there and say, I started this way and realized, yeah, this isn't working. And that, because that's real life.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of us have done something thinking we got this, we know how to do it. And then a little later, you're like, I really am not doing this the right way.
Yep.
Those are the things I love to hear.
It was
Because
very relatable. I saw part of it. I'm going to go back and watch the rest of it, but very, very relatable. And I think that is why we love the seller-led of so many of the seller-led sessions, is because they were real and, you know, putting themselves out there. So thank you guys for that.
How about you, Libby?
So I had a couple, but I'm going to say that I really loved Sarah Stiles, and she did a lot on analytics. Cute. She is a math teacher by trade. So she really did analytics, and she has a way of making what most of us shy away from very interesting, and, you know, provided so many practical suggestions that you could use in your business and use the eBay tools. So I thought that session was absolutely worth it. Yeah.
And that was another one that I'm going to go back and watch like 2, 3, 4 times, because she shared so much, and she did it in a fantastic way, but there's just so much. And she did say on her YouTube that she breaks those down too. So I subscribe to that one.
Yeah, she has some really fantastic resources, and definitely like from an analytical standpoint. So I love that. I think she's phenomenal. And she also did a phenomenal job running the session, was in there answering questions, posting the links to her social media YouTube videos that were describing things. So I loved the way they did that. They had the sessions pre-recorded so that the people that could be in the she could be in the comments while the presentation
the presenters were actually live in the chat, which was nice.
I thought that worked really, really well.
Yeah,
really well. Yeah.
I think, okay, so I'm going to pop a little something in here for anybody that listens to this and watches this. When you go to eBay Open and people are presenting and you're watching these things, a couple of things to keep in mind, because I did get a little defensive for them. And I don't want to be a negative Nelly, but I'm just going to pop this out for a learning lesson. When you start putting negative things in the chat about the presenter, that presenter's in the chat and they're reading that. So think about that before you put things in, because I read some stuff and I was like really upset that people were putting that in there. I didn't think that was right. Most of these people are volunteering their time to educate us. So little thing there. The other thing is, I feel like I'm being a teacher right now and a scolding mother, but these recorded presentations, there were a lot of people who didn't like that it was focusing on certain parts of industries, certain industries. do yourself a favor when you're in there, and I don't mean this negatively, but try to take the industry out of your mind, put that over on the shelf, and just follow the seller's journey, because it's not about what they're selling. It's the story about what they did, how they did it, and where they are and how they got there. That's the most important part. So if you take the kind of, oh, it's all about them and not about me out of the picture, you can really get some amazing stories and learn some amazing things from these people.
Yeah.
Because that's really why they're up there. They're up there not because of the industry they're selling in. That's not what it's because of their story and how they got there and what they did.
And from my corporate mind, from my past, I felt bad for the eBay employee-led ones. They were pre-recorded, and people are watching it, and they're like, "Oh, they did this," or they were asking so many questions, like angry questions, like, "Well, when are you going to release this?" And when are you? They can't answer that. They have to follow guidelines, and eBay might be working on something, but if they're not going to release that yet, then quit bombarding that person with those questions.
Right.
Let's make sure that works in the shoe category, and then when it's going well, they'll release it to other ones if that's what people want.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a really good, so seller check-ins, they usually run those quarterly, maybe 3 times a year with eBay. So that might be an appropriate forum to bring your questions and actually get a response.
And they offer, that's the thing is, eBay is about you, about the sellers and about the community. They offer so many opportunities for you to give feedback and send them emails and ask them questions. Take advantage of those. When people were putting that in the chat, I didn't want to come across negative because I hate the negativity. But after every session, there's a survey.
Yeah.
That's what the survey's for, not the chat. The chat for, supporting each other, meeting each other, and asking, pertinent questions about what's going on there. But if you have something you really are worried about or concerned about, they offer so many amazing avenues for you to get out there and do that.
And they incentivized it. They were giving away swag bucks and points and stuff to earn swag bucks for filling out the surveys and going to as many sessions as you could and interacting.
Yeah. I mean, that's one way I really relate to eBay is with consignment. It's very similar. Like, we want our consigners to earn as much as they can. We want our consigners to be as happy as they can. We want to see them successful because our success is tied to their success. And it's kind of a very similar thing with eBay, right? The better we do as sellers, the better they are going to do as a company. So I think it's always good to keep that in mind. For us, consignment, like, we kind of see that naturally because that's where our businesses are. And, it is the same with eBay. They want to see their sellers succeed and, just keep that in mind.
We're all in this together. I don't remember the song.
She's waking up.
Okay, listen, question. 24 photographs.
I know.
Okay, so Samantha, I want your take on the 24 photographs because we all have different takes. 24 photographs.
So I'm a big believer in use as many photos as possible. I haven't tried the video yet, but I need to because that's an awesome thing that they already released. And I tell people all the time when they're talking about selling, even just posting on Facebook, I'm like, if someone can't see it in person, you need to make them feel like they are. Make them feel like they have all the information they need to make this purchase. So if you can fill up them photos, you fill up them photos.
Ooh, one of my favorite quotes from one of the people, when you said that,
what?
I can't remember who it was, but it was in one of the sessions, and he said, photograph as if you cannot see it. Describe it. Hold on, am I saying this right?
Yes. You make your photographs as if they can't read the description, and make your description as if they can't see the photos.
I was like,
oh, I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah.
Stu Gibbs is a seller that's in a lot of the eBay groups and stuff, and he has preached that for so long, and I love it.
I always say, like, if I'm training somebody to take photographs, like, pretend you're in a store, right? And you pick the item up and you're feeling it, and like take your photographs like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I personally can't imagine with 99% of my items needing more than 12 photographs. Honestly, I don't fill them all up a lot of times. I do take a minimum of 6. Molly, do you care to share your authentic behavior on this?
Okay, my authentic behavior is I love photography like no other, but I am a minimalist in my photos. I am like 3 to 4, get them up, get them gone, move on. Yeah, I am. It's what I've done. The only time I do 12 is if it's a pair of shoes that are pre-owned that I want to really show that there's a little scuff here, and handbags. But I think 24 photos is going to be amazing for those like in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're trying to show something like a car, 24 photos, I think is a necessity. I think that's phenomenal.
For sure.
Yeah.
So up here in the Uperland of Michigan, we have Carhartts and jackets, layered jackets and things like that. So I was actually listing a few while this was going on, and I wish that I had more photos because you have layers. You're unzipping them. You want to show the different pockets, the cuffs. I could have used 18 on all of them.
Oh, there's your video. There's your video.
Yeah.
So we had lunch with some other sellers yesterday in New York, and one of them showed us a video he was using because he was a train, right?
Yeah.
He was selling a train, and what a great way to put the video of the train going around the track.
Yeah.
Bill and Maida Webster of Connectables. They're in Connecticut, and their business is Connectables, and they've been selling for a long time.
So sweet.
Yes,
so sweet.
They were really
very knowledgeable.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
Oh, and tell them about the lot they got.
Oh, so they talk about this on the eBay for Business podcast, but they have a connection with Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. So they did a lot of that estate. I think they still might have a couple pieces. They still have some,
yeah. That's from what she was saying.
Yeah, so very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah.
Very cool.
So they do consignment sometimes, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Samantha, you're going to utilize a lot of those 24 photos. I've decided after all this weekend that I'm going to add a few photos.
All right.
And not do so few.
We couldn't really get an answer if the filling up the photos or using the max amount affects the algorithm at all.
I did in one of the sessions. Someone from eBay did answer that no, it does not affect the algorithm. It just helps your sellers or your buyers see things. That's all it's for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Oh, Rebecca's asking a question.
All right.
Oh, and she's never used videos to sell. Me too, Rebecca. I'm excited to learn about it.
All right. So that's your mom, right?
Yep, that's my mom.
Yep, that's your mom.
You know what? I think that Samantha, you need to do one first. Do it.
Yeah.
And do the training. It's actually pretty easy. I've done it on a couple.
It's easy for me to put that on you because I'm traveling. I won't be home to list for a few more days. Well, you're traveling too, aren't you?
Yes, we are at a barbecue competition right now.
Ooh.
Well, that doesn't suck.
It's like a half mile down the road. They're all there cooking yummy things. I just get to go
back
and have
outside and just smell it in the air. Right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Love it.
That is so fun.
All right, Rebecca.
All right, look, Becky's with you on this. She's making the pledge to use more photos. Molly, you guys have to keep track of each other.
Okay, Becky, you and I. We're going to be happening. Yes, we got to do this.
All right, so I have a funny story actually about my mom. So my mom does a lot of the photography, and so I'm a big believer in use as many photos as you can. And she's like, I can't take this. Like, what am I going to take this many photos of? And then she says to me the one day, she's like, well, I looked at Molly's listings, and she only has like 3 or 4 photos on some of them. So I think that's okay.
So that's her new thing. Well, Molly doesn't do it that way. Well, Molly doesn't do it that way.
See the ripple effect you are having?
You have to set an example, Molly.
I've been successful over the years with 3 or 4.
You have.
Which means you can be even more
I know. That's the mindset I'm going with now, Samantha. I'm going to do it. And your mom and I are going to be accountability partners here. She and I are going to keep each other. I'll start next week when I get home and start my listings back. I promise.
And I'm going to have to tell my mom that Molly is up in her game. So yes.
I'm growing up, Jane. I'm growing up.
We're holding everybody accountable on this one.
I know. Oh. But sometimes I feel like if it's a shirt, it's new with tags. You see it on the mannequin. You got the front, you got a side, you got a back, you got the label. What more do you need?
I am the person, I'll get something that's new in box, and you figure you just take a picture of all sides. Oh no, I'm like right up in the plastic. Like, can you see the cord holding the Barbie in there? It is.
All right. I like that. And List Perfectly holds 30 photos for those of you that use. I'm not sure. How many does Consign Cloud hold?
I don't know. I've never went past 12.
We need to look at that.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to
now
take a
that
look at that
more.
And report back.
Yeah.
I can
feel
add.
Like it's definitely more than 12.
I've added more than 12, but then eBay kicks it back and I have to decrease it. But
right.
Another thing with Consign Cloud, which I haven't asked anybody about this, I just adapted. But I noticed that because we sync it to Shopify and then Shopify syncs it to all their platforms and all that stuff, that sometimes it would take the very first photo that I loaded and sometimes it would take the last photo.
Yeah.
So I make those match now. So I really only have 11 photos in a lot of mine because
you make your first and last the same?
The same. So I know that no matter what, that's going to be.
How many times do we say Samantha's so smart?
So smart.
We say that all the time. That's Samantha's so smart.
And that right there, folks, is why being part of a community is so important, because those little things that you don't think of, somebody else has probably thought of them, dealt with it.
Mm-hmm.
How much time and energy did she just save us?
Okay, because here's what I've been doing, Samantha. I actually sent a message to the chat for it. My pictures keep cut. Well, you go to here, you move it here, you do that. I've been going through these steps to get it back where I want it.
I should have told you sooner. I thought about it yesterday. I was like,
well, I didn't post my poll about the community. I was a bad girl. If I had put it in the community, I would have gotten the answer. It's on me.
Did you see that a lot of our new members use Consign Cloud already? I was excited for that.
I did see a lot of Consign Cloud out there.
Yeah. And they integrate with Shopify because somebody posted a question about that and we had some new people saying, I use it.
Are we forming a cult, ladies?
No, definitely not. We are open to anything and everything when it comes to how you track your consignments. We just happen to use the same software and believe in it. It's been a game changer for our businesses. But absolutely, we talk about all kinds of different spreadsheets, lots of different software. So don't feel like you can't get in the community and let us know what you're using. I've used 3 different consignment softwares myself. So, I have knowledge on those as well.
During her long age of life.
And even back to eBay, I saw a lot of comments and people asking, well, do I need a store? What's the benefits of having a store? And so even that we've not had one. We have had one. There's different levels of this subscriptions. And so we all have knowledge on that too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
We got something for everyone.
So one of the sessions, they ended at different times sometimes. So I would hop over to another one and see if I could catch tidbits and things like that. And I hopped into the promoted listings one, which I don't use promoted listings. I have played with it here and there. So this was a promoted listings plus, which is their next level and all that. And I thought, man, they're just going to push that. It's going to be, do it. They showed all the analytics and they showed on the back end how you can go in and see for specific items and specific niches that
niche. It's a niche.
It showed how you can look up kind of like Terapeak. You can look and see on Terapeak, you can see what it was trending for, how much it was, how many people bought it. And then in the promoted listings, you can see that data. And then, well, if someone promoted it this percentage, how quickly did it sell? And is it worth some of the stuff they showed us? They were like, don't use promoted listings in this category. Don't
It's
use
not
them
worth it.
here. And they were
Wow.
very upfront about this is not for, we don't want you to put this on your whole store. We don't want you to do 20% on everything, to do 2% in this category or things like that. So that's something I'll be going back and watching and seeing the tools that they use.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool tools for promotion. And there's, for those of you that don't know, so there's all sorts of promotional tools. It's up to you whether you want to use them, but there's 2 categories of promotions. There's advanced promote it, which is like an Amazon model, like you kind of pay per click. It's kind of like that. That's advanced. That is usually for people that are selling multiples of an item and are in a specific niche. And then we have the regular promoted listings where you, you can apply it to certain items. Anybody can and should use that if you want to boost your sales. And it is a minimum of 2%. And you pay that, whatever that percentage you set on the item, you pay it only if the item sells through a promoted listing. So I want to say ours are about 40%. We sell about 40% of our items via promoted listings at this point. It boosts a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So just keep in mind that there's two separate things when we talk about promoted listings, but we can get into the details about that. But
yeah, there were just so many tools to compare it all. I was like, oh, okay.
I know. All right. So I have a favorite eBay employee, and he deals with, it's Perrin, and he deals with eBay coupons, newsletters, buyer groups, all of those tools. And I got to meet him yesterday, so that was kind of cool.
Yay.
She was a little bit of a fangirl. She kind of lost herself for a moment. I'm not going to lie. She was pretty excited.
I do, because I was like a project manager and the go-between between technology and end user. I get excited when somebody else can do that and do that really well. And I think he really, really does. So his session is...
Oh, that's awesome.
His session was really good. We will be doing, I have some tutorials out there on our channel about newsletters and coupons and things like that. So there are so many, I think we just need to kind of gloss over that because there are so many tools that you can use. Don't get in there and get overwhelmed. Maybe pick one, start with one if you're just starting. But there's so many tools that you can use to drive buyers to your listings, and their seller initiated offer, I think, is one of the biggest ones. Yeah. I mean, we get a sale from that almost every day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And then you can combine that with coupon. I mean, there's just so many options. And I want to kind of beef up our YouTube channel with tutorials on, maybe on a couple of those, because there are a lot of options. But that presentation is good. You can kind of see how you can use those tools. Maybe pick one that you're interested in and you want to concentrate on. Yeah.
And they did a good pace with some of those. I sent out a newsletter while the guy was going step by step. I just pulled up my store and sent one out myself, and I was still chatting and doing stuff. So it was a good pace for everybody to learn and do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Awesome. All right. So should we hop into eBay NYC?
Yeah. I want to hear.
Do we have some points that we want to cover before we talk about the in-person event?
We got our shirts. eBay open. Okay. So yesterday, Thelma and Louise drove to New York City. Thelma drove in the city.
I did.
Through the tunnel in the city. I was very proud of her. Very proud. We had a wonderful lunch with a group of sellers.
So Kathy Terrell organized a lunch with a group of sellers. So we met, Bill and Meta Webster, Anissa. Who else was there?
Wait, Anissa, Webster's, us, of the gentleman, Scott.
Oh, Scott Wucher was there. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name of his business, but
sorry, Scott. We're still having our exhaust brain.
Woo Trade. Which
Okay.
trade? Yeah. And then we had some eBay employees that joined.
That was so much
that was
fun.
cool. And you know what biggest takeaway from this whole thing was? We had a lot of opportunities to meet and talk with eBay
I wonder
staff.
if yours is the same as mine. Go ahead.
Is that they wanted to hear what we thought. That was their primary objective of being there. It's their favorite part to be able to interact with sellers and say, you know, what do you guys need? What is going to be helpful? What is going to make you successful? What are your pain points?
And when I say that, I mean, as you're talking, that they are asking you direct questions and writing down in the notebook what you want help with. And a guy on there in the computer talking to some business people, typing right away. And in fact, when I saw, oh gosh, I can't remember her name that ate lunch with us.
Parina.
When I saw her, she ate lunch with us, but then when I saw her again, when we got to the event itself, I went up and she's like, "Hey, Molly." And I'm like, "Hey," I said, "I really can't thank you enough for coming to lunch." She goes, "Are you kidding me? It was so much fun." She said, "In fact, I've already sent all the notes from y'all. I've already emailed them in." I mean, they really want to know.
And people were complaining about things being pre-recorded with the sellers and stuff, but A, they got to be in the chats with us and answer questions.
Right.
And B, eBay did that on purpose so that those people were there 2 or 3 weeks ago and they got to sit down and have groups like that and have more time that wasn't crazy, you know, eBay open week. They'd have more time and sit down and have focus groups and questions and things like that. They're listening.
Yeah. It was really, you definitely left there going, they absolutely care. And they absolutely want to hear from every business. It doesn't matter if you're automotive or sneaker. They want to know from the smallest business, how can we help you?
Yep. And speaking of automotive, we met, I interact with him some online, but Hubcap Joe, do you know Hubcap Joe?
Mm-mm.
Oh gosh.
I didn't either, but I do now.
Crazy NY Driver, I think, is his YouTube channel, but he's hilarious. So we got to meet him yesterday.
And the Harry Tornado.
Oh, and Harry Tornado and his wife.
Yes, she's so sweet.
Josh and Haley, awesome.
Yes. So that was kind of fun. They were invited. It was funny because they were standing behind us in line. They said, "Oh, did somebody talk about Boss Reseller Remix?" And I was like, "That was her."
He's like, "We'll be there." I said, "Oh yeah."
They just did their own. They did that FlipCon last year.
Yeah,
which we were in Maine because it's literally right where I live. I would have been there in a skinny minute, except we were in Maine.
I know that's a major.
In fact, I meant to ask him, were they going to redo it? Were they going to do it again next year? Because I want to go.
I think
so. They said they are. Yep. Yeah. They learned a lot. So this,
Samantha,
growing year.
Road trip. You come to my house and we go.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah.
How fun.
I'm down for that.
Yeah. 3 of us. Boom. We're in it.
Yeah. All right. Becky follows Harry Tornado. Everybody follows Harry Tornado, right?
So I found him back in the beginning of the P word pandemic. Because, you're home and you're watching everything. And I found him at some point on YouTube. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And it was back when he would literally take a truck and buy a full pallet from Goodwill because the Goodwills were like, nobody's coming in. We can't sell it. So they would just bulk up a pallet and he would take the truck. And I just thought it was so much fun because, I love sourcing.
Right.
But then to find out he's from South Carolina, like, he's my boy, Carolina girl. So I got into watching him then and got my husband into watching him because I just thought he was so funny. But yeah, now he's huge.
Yeah, right. Huge. Yeah.
So that was fun. But meeting everybody was fun. I mean, whether it was another business person and y'all, eBay did this right.
Oh, let's talk about like
unbelievable
screen printing the t-shirts in whatever size and style you want. Like they were there screen printing
different colors, different styles. You just went in and said, "Can I have that shirt with that design and that color?" And they'd screen print it right there for you and set it. I mean, It was amazing. The food, like you go into the big event room and the back wall was so cute. It had like a drink bar. Well, there were drink bars in every corner you turned, but they had it set up almost like a movie theater. So there was popcorn already bagged, but it was fresh popcorn, and you could choose 3 different in the little bag with the eBay.
Crazy.
A candy bar where you get your little clear bag with the eBay sticker, and they would scoop whatever candies or nuts or whatever you wanted in it. So the whole idea was you'd go sit for the presentation. You'd have your popcorn and your candy during the presentation. But so we got some, and this and I went and got some and brought Libby some back. And the funny thing was, when the presentation started, all you could hear was everybody was in their bags, and then it quit halfway through. And then this one over here decides near the end she's going to eat hers, and she's the only one in there going.
Molly grabbed my bag away from me and put it away.
Put that away. She's like, oh, so I have to get punished just because I waited?
And she loves her popcorn. What are you doing?
But they had, servers coming around with food on platters. They had buffet bars set up. They had free drinks, alcohol and non. It was really, they had a photo booth.
Yep.
Libby, show them our photos. We had so much fun with the photo booth.
I'll show this one first.
And Libby and I made the big screen with our photo booth picture. They put us up on the big screen for the presentation.
Oh, that was so funny. That was so funny.
Somebody took a photo of us getting our photo done, and as soon as they went to the New York people, boom, there's Libby and I up there.
I said I was going to talk. My goal was, and for people that know me, I am a very quiet person. And it was my goal to talk to as many people as possible and network as much. And I just went.
She did such a good job. She's like, oh, Libby, you did a really good job.
And that's hard. That's hard for me, but you wouldn't have known it because I didn't shut up. But
she was like a kid in a candy store.
I was.
And I said that, and one of the employees heard me. She goes, oh, do you want candy? There's candy in that room right there.
You don't have to buy it. We have some.
Sugar is the last thing she needs right now. Believe me.
We do not need sugar. No. She's like on a high right now. She's so excited. These are her people. We got her out in public.
So they had like high top tables, and they were segmented by like eBay, like seller experience, buyer experience, growth advisors,
ads, any topic that you would want information on with eBay.
And you were actually able. They were usually, most of them were eBay community, and they were staffed by
a couple of different eBay, 2 to 3 eBay reps there, and you could just go up and talk and ask questions and.
Which they did a great job doing that online too. They had a booth segment on the side that you could go to in between sessions, and you could ask questions, and they had reps in there answering them every few minutes. And
a couple of them were actually talking to me about how they enjoyed doing that online. They were like, yeah, we did it online, and it was really a lot of fun to hear from people and be able to answer their questions. Oh, and it's nice to hear that they really enjoy doing that. It's what they do. They probably are during the week working at a desk. So to have that interaction with sellers and feel like you can and are making a difference probably means as much to them as it does to us when we make a difference for a customer.
Yeah. All right. So I asked a question in the Q&A.
She did. I was so proud of her. She stood up and asked a question.
Yeah, but that wasn't where I'm going with it. But so afterward, we were standing, in the reception room. And somebody came up to me and she said, I recognized your voice from the podcast.
Ooh.
How funny is that when you stood up to ask the question? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So we met Tina and Ann. We got photos with them.
Awesome.
They live near me.
That's the funniest thing in the end is they
They are so excited about joining our local meetup. And that was really exciting.
Just like, hi, Molly, I'd like to meet you. I listened to your podcast. I couldn't believe you were here. Yeah, it was fun.
Celebrity moment.
Fun. I know it was fun, but they were really, really sweet.
They were. I was so happy to meet them, and
we talked to them for a good bit.
Oh yeah, we hung out with them. I got some ice cream at the ice cream bar with them. Yeah, it was cool.
But they had to have her sprinkles.
Sprinkle
favorite
food. I love sprinkles so much. Love sprinkles.
What else can we say about that amazing experience?
Oh, we got to talk to Shouty. We got to talk to Andrea Stairs. Like everybody was super
And
available.
they came to us. Like Andrea came to us. Oh, hi, ladies. Da, 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 da. You know, are you enjoying yourself? And then she started with questions. You know, we really want to help in any way we can. And
yeah,
Awesome.
amazing.
Mind blowing. Oh, let's talk about the digital business card.
Oh.
All right. So as we know, people are getting away from business cards.
Mm-hmm.
Even like the eBay employees, like they wanted the information, but they don't want, the paper, right?
They're always like, I'm going to lose this.
I'm going to lose this. So the night before, I have a contact card for Conchi consignment that I use and send to people. Like a contact in an iPhone that has all our information on it. But we needed something for C-chats. And I'm so glad you did that. And the eBay staff, so many people are like, I've never done this. This is amazing. Can I have your information? And so hold that.
I've been told I have to do a tutorial.
Yeah, I've seen ads for these where you can just send them or even tap your phone depending on the type it is.
It was really easy and they loved it. And I'm going to do a tutorial for C-chats to show people how to do it.
Yeah. Awesome. And I'm going to do one for Conchi consignment as well, because it's
that way when we go to Boss Reseller and they're meeting everybody, you just boop here, and it stores right in your contacts.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. It was pretty neat, but I was I thought we were kind of like a little behind the 8 ball with that, right? Like everybody has one, and to find out like so many people that are in tech like didn't have one.
It's funny because
or had never done it.
Because I learned about it when I was in the nonprofit industry a couple of years ago and would go to the medical conferences, and that's where I learned about it, because a lot of them just wanted to, those doctors and scientists, they don't want to put a pack of cards in their wallet. Like they're not going to do that. And that's where I first learned about it. But I was surprised, that eBay tech people
in New York City.
In Atlantic City.
Yeah. So
some things ebb and flow like that. 9 years ago when I made my first cards, I put a QR code on the back, and nobody, especially in my rural area, knew what a QR code was or how you're supposed to use it. And it wasn't on their phones. And and then now everybody's like, oh, you have one of those? Oh, that's the standard. That's what's on there.
Yeah.
But it took a while.
I mean, the way Molly set it up, and she'll show this in the tutorial, is actually you can text it to somebody, you can email it, you can send it however you want. So if somebody doesn't, but it was super. The QR code was pretty easy
because they just held the camera up and then hit save contact, and that was
awesome.
It.
I'm just super excited about that. I thought we were way behind our game with that, but apparently not. Apparently not. All right. So what else?
I don't know. We just had a ball. We got a ball. We got all these.
So much swag.
All these things. Oh, my favorite swag piece of all times. I mean, we got mugs. We got all kinds of things, right?
She loves the swag. I could care less about the swag.
So swag. But
Libby's swag will be available on eBay later.
Check her account.
No, it will be. I was actually going to say that. Thank you, Samantha.
My most favorite piece of swag, the Teresa Cox inspired.
Yes.
eBay, aka IKEA, but eBay bag.
Right.
I'm not selling that. I've already put it to use this morning with my shipping, honestly. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, we use
I
those
am
bags
so
much
excited.
anyway.
I was hoping that somewhere along the way I would see this and get this. And when I opened, so they came in when we were leaving, they gave us this little eBay zip cloth bag.
Mm-hmm.
But then in it was all kinds of things in this bag.
Nice.
I mean, all kinds of things. But most importantly, the Teresa Cox inspired eBay bag.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Wow. So we're going to have a lot of follow-up on, Terapeak, digital business cards. We didn't talk about Ken the Hustle Bee.
Oh,
Him.
Inspirational Ken Gaetano.
He commented on my reel that I made while I was watching him. Told me I was doing good.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I mean, I tagged him in it, but still.
I mean, his story was beautiful, and it's just so cool that he's putting it out there and inspiring people. And I thought that was really amazing. So shout out to the Hustle Bee.
I gotta put a shout out, as I was saying this everywhere yesterday in New York when people would talk about Liz, and I would go,
"This is funny.
Are you my Liz? That's my Liz." Liz O'Kane, she was all over that screen, and we are so proud to say she's my Liz.
She's a sea chatter.
She's a sea chatter.
Yeah.
So
He officially said that we are friends too now. So
I saw that. My favorite was your post. What did you say? Like, I'm gonna squeal or something, or like,
yeah, I was fangirling, and she's like, "Oh, please, come on,
please, it's Liz. Come on." No. It was good to see her represented up there because she is amazing.
She's amazing. She's so knowledgeable. She's so humble and
so community based. So we were glad to see our girl up there. She was messaging me during it yesterday. We were back and forth on Messenger, and I said, "FYI, I'm referring to you here as my Liz." She goes, "I love that." My Liz.
Oh gosh, she was on our episode this week. It was eBay Open. Like she
had a big week.
She had a really, really big week.
Somebody's having a good week. Liz O'Kane, aka Lizzo, aka my Liz.
She has to be just exhausted. Exhausted. All right, I want to mention this because the buyer experience, Jordan Sweetenham talked about the buyer experience. And one of the things he said, we always say, look at things from your customer's perspective. And eBay is trying to do that, like from the buyer perspective. And the three things they want to do are reliability, my favorite, simplicity, keep it simple, folks, and trust. And those are the three things that they're concentrating on for the buyer experience. They want, people to feel reliable, be able to trust what they're buying on eBay, and keep it simple for.
And that goes back. Well, I wanted to mention that when we were talking about the photos as if they can't read the description as if they can't see the photos, but also you don't need to copy and paste your policies in there and all that. Still keep it a short description, but just make sure that you're putting all the details in there so things are clear.
Yes,
correct.
Yes. I think we need to do a little like refresher on creating a listing, because I think there's a lot of extraneous information that is addressed in business policies that people are adding into there that really doesn't belong. And it did at one point belong in there. It did at one point on eBay belong in there, but it has evolved. So yeah.
I always think back when we first started and we would use like the decorative frame on the description page. Of like if it was jeans, you'd put the denim frame, and you'd put this beautiful pair of jeans will look amazing when you head out tonight on the town. Like,
Oh God.
Feel like a coder over there with all your
old listings up. We do come across that in our stores though.
We're like, oh, how cheesy did that sound?
I find myself still doing it sometimes. I'm like, this will, and I'm like, wait, no, that's not.
Yeah. So I think we should probably put out there just a simple how to create a listing and what you need to include.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I like that.
We made a list.
We made a lot of work for ourselves right now, didn't we? Oh my goodness!
And I got to start photographing more because Becky and I are going to keep each other accountable.
Yeah, you won't see Molly for the next couple months.
My workload is just getting bigger and bigger as we sit behind the screen. I don't know, y'all.
Big announcement was the international shipping as well. They are international shipping. We're big international shippers. We have always used the eBay programs, whether it's the Global Shipping Program, GSP, or the new eBay International Standard Delivery. We use it. We love it. We think it definitely broadens your market, but the changes they are making, stay tuned, make it even easier to sell internationally and put your items in front of a much larger audience. So that's really exciting.
Yeah. To me, the selling app and the addition of pictures were the eBay Live, and the addition of pictures were kind of, to me, their three biggest.
Now, what are your thoughts? I don't want to be a negative or a naysayer, but what are your thoughts on they handle the returns part? because I use GSP. I ship it to their hub, and they send it out and do all that, and I love it. But they said that they're just going to test this, and they're going to let sellers in, like kind of vet them a little bit and build this up and move everybody over to it eventually. But that when somebody returns something that was shipped globally, that it would go to their hub and they would handle that return, and everybody would keep their money or be refunded or whatever. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it's going to go the way they think it is.
I'm very optimistic about that. Having used, both programs, I think I've had 2 return requests in all these years for international items, and there was no good way to do it, because how do you send somebody in Japan a return label? Like, how do you do that? I forget what country. I remember one was Canada, and even that was very, convoluted, complex, and it just wasn't a great experience on my end. It wasn't a great experience on the buyer's end. So I'm really optimistic about having a solution for that and letting buyers feel a little bit more comfortable buying, that they're not going to get stuck with an item, because pretty much, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, they got stuck with the item. Like, they didn't end up returning it. They kept something they weren't 100% satisfied with. And I don't like that idea. So I hope they figure it out and it works the way they think it's going to work.
I guess that is, I'm glad that they're letting people in a little bit at a time too, so they can make sure that they're doing it right. There's not like loopholes or scams that are going to happen with this, because scammers find a way to get through everything. So if they monitor it and slowly grow it, then that's good.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. We'll see what actually happens, but I'm fairly optimistic about it. Yeah. All right. So what else?
I think that, first of all, if you haven't already, stop, like, subscribe, hit the bell button so that when we go live, you get notified.
Because we will be doing giveaways when we do our next live.
We will be doing giveaways at our next live, so you don't want to miss it.
All right. Becky says, I'll be waiting on the digital business cards. Paper is my thing, but I feel I need to be up to date on that. Thank you for the lovely chat. Oh, thank you for joining us live
for coming for a Saturday morning chit chat.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. This has been fun. I know Samantha's got to get to some barbecue.
I know.
Yeah, Mom, come eat some barbecue.
You what?
I said, Mom, come eat some barbecue.
Yeah, some barbecue. She's got to get to some barbecue. Libby's got to get to some shipping. I'm going back to bed.
You have shipping to do too. What are you talking about? All right.
All right, y'all. Until next time.
Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.